Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Those who don't know me, I'm Shay, and this is Shay-Xtreme Beauty. And on this channel, we do makeup reviews, makeup hauls, makeup tutorials, and just chit-chat about everything I just mentioned. I have mature skin, I'm over 55, and I have normal to combo skin. Hey, so Happy New Year, belated Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. Can you believe it? 2024 was quite a roller coaster. I think for everybody I know, all my friends, family, it keeps it exciting. Well, I'd like to do a lot of my top products from 2024, but everybody on this platform is doing that. Their top 10 palettes, their top 5 foundations, their top 5 highlighters, blushes, you name it. And I still may do that at a later date. But I've missed you guys. I've had a great holiday. I hope everyone did as well. I want to say that we just stayed home here in Vegas and just enjoyed our holiday. My love got sick, a bad cold, in the middle of December. And he was really ill, and he was COVID negative. And then I thought I was good to go. It was like a week later, and then I caught it. And I thought, because I just thought we were so careful, but maybe not careful enough. So then I caught it, and I'm like, oh no. And it was like December 17th or 16th, and I'm like, I feel like, and it was the worst head cold I've had in a long time. And I just got a flu shot 3 weeks prior to that. And so it was definitely a cold. I don't think it was a flu. I didn't have a fever or anything, but it was the worst sinus, just everything. I mean, I couldn't breathe. I was blowing my nose. I went through like boxes and boxes of Kleenex and bags of Hall's cough drops. So it's like, oh my God. So, but by Christmas Eve and Christmas, we were well enough that we could enjoy our holiday. We stayed in and a little sniffly, but we were still able to enjoy a nice dinner and gift exchange and just all the fun Christmas movie evening. Just a fun evening of Christmas movies. So, but this cold was bad, and I think a lot of people had it, and it's like, it's just lingered, and then it's like, it like dissolved into my allergies. The winter has been pretty mild here in Vegas. It's like in the 40s or 50s at night, and in the daytime it's like 61, 62 Fahrenheit. And it's been really dry. My skin is so parched, so dry. My lips are dry. Everything is so dry. So just trying to stay hydrated is completely ridiculous. That's that. We must move on. Today I just want to chat about things to look forward to in the new year. Like what, trends and behaviors and your attitude about life and just your confidence in yourself. So like the first thing I want to talk about is like claiming to be an expert in beauty. Okay, a lot of the influencers and things that claim this, I could see if you have 10 years plus experience, and I don't just mean like in a makeup artist industry, but just being a creator, and reviewing makeup and doing makeup on yourself. I mean, that's enough of experience that you can call yourself an expert. But some of these young people, and not to say they're not good, but if they've only been doing makeup since, for like a few years, they're not an expert. I mean, they happen to be good at it and they're a natural, but they don't know everything. And you can't be an expert on everything when you're 23 years old. I have nothing against youth, but wait till you hit, 50, like everything you knew and worked for you when you're 23 is not going to be the same at 43 or 53. It's just not. So currently, maybe you're an expert in your skin and in your generation. But every 10 years, you're going to alter. You're going to need to alter things. So that's my input. Not everybody's an expert. Some people have more experience than others. For me, I spent like 20 years being a makeup artist for models, for myself. I did I was a model back in my, back in the day. And also I went to High School of the Arts, so I was in musical theater and with costume design, lighting, tech. So I have experience in all that, and photography as well, and video. This is back when digital didn't exist, back in the 80s. So, I know how to work official darkroom with real film and how to develop film and develop photographs and hang them up to dry. I had one set up in my home back in the 90s as well. I turned my extra bathroom into a darkroom with all the chemical trays and everything. So I have experience when it comes to photography, video, lighting, and all this stuff. I mean, today's technology is incredible. And I still have my old Olympus 35mm camera that I went to photography school with back in high school. I still have that. I don't use it anymore, but it's something that's so personal to me that I'm a hoarder too, but that's another story. I'm gonna keep that camera for now because it's just memories, So today's technology, like I mentioned, like it's crazy with computers, and I also went to cosmetology school, and I have my license. I've had my license since the late 80s, and I worked in hair salons and did hair and did perms and did manicures and did all of that. So it's like after years of doing that on other people, I realized it wasn't for me anymore to like work in a hair salon. So, but I wanted to do something more freelance. So I think years later, working in the modeling industry, working on commercials and editorials, art galleries, things like that, I've always been surrounded by all those things. And so all my training back, since I was a teenager, I brought that into the future. Back when I was 18, that was one thing. And in my early 20s, when you have youthful skin and everything is just so tight and everything, you could just throw on some lip gloss and some foundation and you look perfect. But like, when the older you get, you have to alter a few things, and, I wear makeup a few times a week, and I used to wear it every day, but I just, I just don't wear makeup that much when I'm just sitting at home editing videos and things like that. So, but I do like a chiseled, contoured look. I like to chisel my, jawline and things like that. But now that I'm over 55, it's like, things aren't as tight as they used to be. And, I always, things they used to be so tight and taut. But, you have to accept that. And about aging gracefully, I was, but now it's just like, it's difficult. It's very difficult, like I must say. It does bother me. I'm confident in life experience, but like I don't want to, nobody wants to get old. I mean, whatever old is, nobody wants to age. And if you do, you have no choice. But you want to just stay looking your best and be at your healthiest the longest. So I would say, sunscreen and good skincare is like the key. You could buy, some of the best products and the most expensive luxury products in the world. But if you're putting it on dry, flaky, moisturized skin and skin that hasn't been exfoliated regularly, anything like that, that expensive makeup or that awesome makeup that you bought and that you love so much is only going to look so good. That's why your skin underneath your makeup is the key, is the most important. So make sure you exfoliate regularly, and like I said, lots of water, lots of hydration. If you're oily, then, there are certain things, like I've never had oily skin, but my skin does get oily, like when I'm in a humid environment, like trips to like Florida, things like that. It's like, oh my God, my makeup is like melting off. Something that I don't have to deal with in Las Vegas, which is just a dry desert. So it's completely different. So I am oily in Florida, even though I'm not naturally oily. But humidity and moisture just, after I leave Florida for like a week of visiting or something like that, I think I look 10 years younger because my skin is so hydrated from the air. So if you live in any humid environments, it's really good on your skin. But when you live in the desert, a lot like out west, like any of the desert states, you know, there's quite an adjustment. And I've lived here for over 2 decades. So it's when you first move here, it's like your nose is bleeding because it's cracked and dry, and your skin is just like flaky and itchy, and your body is itchy because you just, you know, where a moisturizer and good, you know, body lotions are a luxury, it's more like a necessity when you live in the desert. It's like if you don't, you're going to turn into just ash. So, you know, that's that. So I'm also using tretinoin. I've been using that for about a year, and I see a little bit of a difference, but I use it every other day or 3 days a week. And I use the sandwich method, which is like just a light moisturizer, then the tretinoin, then a moisturizer on top. So I've been doing that from the beginning, and I never really got too dry or anything because I'm not really doing a strong formula. I'm on the weaker formula of tretinoin, so because I don't want to have any like crazy reactions of flaky skin. But who knows? I'll up the potency eventually. So the next thing is, you know, we should normalize hitting pan on your favorite products. Like, I know sometimes eyeshadows and blushes and things, when, you know, it's almost, you know, in your hitting pan, you don't want to show them, or you're like, oh God, I use so much of that. But that's actually a good thing. I mean, a lot of us who love beauty products, we spend thousands a year, you know, I mean, a lot of money. If I added cost-wise on everything that I own, I don't, it's probably $100,000. Who knows? But it's just a lot. So, you know, I hardly ever go through foundations and things like that because I'll buy a new one, use it for a couple weeks, and it's like, okay, then I buy the new one that comes out, and the new one that comes out. I'm not saying don't buy new products. Don't feel obligated to buy new products, you know? Just buy them if it interests you. If you do this as a living, if you're a creator, then it's your job to review products, you know, for things like that. But if this is not your job and this is just a hobby and you enjoy, you know, educating yourself and just living your life with, like, you know, feeling beautiful and, you know, wearing cool and being creative and things like that on your face, being creative and, you know, beauty-wise, then just still be choosy on what you know, spend your money on, and use up as much as it. Don't be shy to shop your stash. If you're not buying anything this month, then, and I know a lot of people aren't in January because we're too busy paying the debt from December, then things that you bought like in the fall, like, oh, let me go back and let me use that, you know, Fenty blush, or let me use that foundation that came out before winter, or let me use that highlighter, like, there's, you know, whatever. So don't be afraid to shop your stash and normalize hitting pan. If you actually have an eyeshadow palette that's being used and abused, be proud of it. Like, I used this. This is so great. It was it was not a waste of money. It was so worth it. Next up, you know, lean into your personal style with clothing and beauty, obviously. Like, we could follow trends all we want. They don't always work for everybody. And most of the time they don't work for everybody. I try to try different trends that actually I like, the way it looks, whether it be clothing or a style or, you know, certain makeup application. But like when the big blocky eyebrows were in, I was not into that. So I never tried that. It just wasn't me. And it's definitely not in right now. But there were different trends that I never tried, and there were trends that I tried that I liked. I do like this laminated brow look. I've never had my eyebrows laminated. I have a nice brow. I never tweezed them too much, you know, back in the 80s or 90s. So I never had them. I had them thinner than this, but they were never like destroyed so thin that they don't grow back. Luckily, I still have a decent amount of hair on my brow that I can make different looks work. Back in the 90s, I even did that bleached brow thing. Like bleached, like what they were just doing currently. And I'm like, I did that like 20, 30 years ago. And I bleached, I bleached the eyebrows out so they were like the color of your skin and it looked like you had none. And then you could just leave it like that or do a pencil thin one, but your brow, you know, it had a whole different look. I didn't like it, but it was like a trendy thing at the moment in the early 90s. And but it's something I'll never do again. So, and as for clothing, like I love rock and roll. I love glamour. I love goth. So you're going to see me dress in all that. 90% of my wardrobe is black, dark black, light black, soft black, deep black, rich black, shiny black, matte black. I mean, everything. But lately I've been forcing myself like this just to like add a little bit of color with my black. But you're never gonna, but in the last 10, 15 years, you're not gonna see me wear like denim, like a blue denim or anything like that, or just brown or like light tan leather jackets, or I'm just, and I like jewel tones, and I like velvet, and I definitely like leather and lace, and I love mesh. So I'm wearing a lot of that stuff. So earlier in the middle of 2024, we took a trip to Montenegro, and it was we stayed at a fancy resort, and I definitely wasn't going to be bringing my, black leather goth boots and leather leggings and a corset. I mean, it's just, no. Even though that's my preference, but not for that environment. So I just bought a whole mess of like linen, country club, resort type of clothing, pants, skirts, like tops that are just flowy and very linen-like, and I used white, and I still had black, but I had a lot of white and pink and greens and softer colors for something that's a very exotic place. So it was nice to have that, and I was pretty comfortable, and it wasn't too hot there, but it was humid. So you would sweat if you weren't going to be wearing any leather. So like I said, I used everything that I bought, light flowy tops and things like that. It ended up working out really well. But so now I'm adding that to some of my personal style, especially when I'm vacationing. And as for goth clothing, I mean, I've been into that for decades. So I do have my full collection of black lipsticks, things like that. And I have so many goth dresses and cloaks and hoods and corsets and things like that. It's like, I love that. And if I could, I'd wear boots all summer long. Next up, clean your makeup brushes. I'm like everybody else, and I get lazy, and I don't want to clean them. So I end up buying another whole set to use brand new. So I avoid cleaning the other ones that I have, and they're expensive, and it doesn't take that long, and it isn't that hard to clean your makeup brushes regularly. So that's the thing that I sucked on doing in 2024, and I intend on being way better at it in this year, 2025. So like I said before, don't jump into trends unless, just because, don't feel pressure to jump on trends. I do sometimes, but not really. The older I get, the more I'm like, you know what, that trend is cute, but it's not working for me. It wouldn't work for me. It would work for somebody 30 years younger than me. So I'm like, I'm not going to stress about it, so I don't. And I don't think anybody should. No matter what your age, no matter what your income is, you just shouldn't, if you could do it a cheap way out, instead of, if a trend is going to cost you like thousands of dollars, don't. I mean, try a cheap version of it first. And if you think this is totally me and I could totally do, this is me, I'm going to invest on the more pricey version of it, then okay. So some trends that I know that it's not going to be anything longer than like one season, I'll opt the drugstore route or the cheap route, like Walmart, Target, clothing like that. Like that way, a $30 jacket for a season that you're not sure that you're gonna like after the years goes by, it's nothing. But if it's $3,000 jacket that you're not gonna like next year, then like that was a waste of money. And yes, you could resell it, but we're not discussing that right now. And you should resell things if you're not using it anymore. You know, get rid of some of the clutter, donate or resell it. I've been doing a lot of that lately, and it's very satisfying. And about the trends, don't force a makeup trend. I mean, I'm trying to think of the different trends that are right now that are like new. I guess that real powdery, okay, the blush that was really trending last year, that was like baby pink. I'm like, well, let me try it. And I think I had some old blushes that were from, you know, 5 years ago, and they were very light pink. They were the same thing. So I would try them, and I'm like, okay, I got the look, but I'm not going to buy anything new that has that now, because I can just use this one, and I don't love the look. I do like, lately I've been opening myself up to like a mauve tone, and I'm normally into peachy pinks, like a coral or an apricot type of shade for the cheeks. And that is probably my favorite still. I think it just goes with my skin tone, and I think it just looks really bright and pretty and youthful. But lately, like I said, I'm trying the mauve look, the mauve tone look, and as long as it's not too deep, I think I like it. But I'm not going to go to that baby doll powder pink. I think it just looks silly on me. But I think it's a cute trend. And now the trend was like, a lot of people aren't wearing lashes anymore. They're just taking care of their own lashes. And I think that's a positive thing to bring. If your own lashes are suffering because you're, you know, gluing, you know, giant false lashes to your eye, you know, you could be, if you're using the wrong glue and if you're using it every day, it could be very harsh on your real lashes, and you could pull a lot of them out. So sometimes it would be good to take a break from that. You know, if you don't have to use false eyelashes for like a month or two, just get a really good mascara, and I would also use a good conditioner for your lashes. The special products, I've tried them here and there. I just can be committed to use like a lash serum like every day. Like I tried to for 2 weeks, and then I get bored and I'm like, I don't see anything. And I know it takes months for you to notice. So I have a serum that I need to finish up. So I need to use it every day, maybe twice a day, and make the best of it before it expires. But I'm using like a 3/4 or half lash or a 3/4 lash right now, and I like that. I like this trend. I like a false lash. I'll only put a lash on when I have a full face of makeup on. Some people like to put the false lashes on with like that no makeup look. No, I don't do that for me. I think it doesn't work for me. I think it's silly. So, but I'm really into trying to. I don't think my eyelashes are. I think I have small lashes. I think they stick straight out. I think you can't see them. I think curling them with a good eyelash curler definitely helps and makes them look better when you're not wearing lashes. It stands them up. If you've never tried that, try and get a good eyelash curler that kind of fits your eye shape, and just doing that. And if you're not sure, just there's hundreds of videos on YouTube on how to curl your lashes. I've never used the heated eyelash curler. I'm curious and I'm fascinated to maybe try that one day, but I don't have one and I've never tried it. So, and I am guilty of not curling my lashes every time I did today, but there are many times, I would say it's 50% of the time I do not curl my lashes. I just rely on a good mascara to like hold them into place. So I'm very picky about my mascaras. I don't like them to be too wet or watery. I don't like to be dried up either, but I like them like a happy medium. I mean, why can't everything be that way, right? I see these new palettes that come out, and there's like maybe no mattes in there at all, and it's a whole palette of beautiful shimmers. And I like a beautiful shimmer, but I don't need a whole palette of beautiful shimmers. I have a few. I prefer a palette that's like one and done, to be honest. I like a fair amount of mattes of all tones and shades for setting and transitioning and for deepening and blending. And then I like a really good selection of shimmers and multi-chromes. I don't always use shimmers. I don't use them all over. Like it just won't, like when I was 22, would that have looked good? I don't know, maybe. But being over 55, it doesn't always look good. Today I'm using an all matte look, no shimmer at all, and I'm using the new one by Natasha Denona. It was my first mini palette from Natasha Denona, my first one. Since then I've bought a few others because I like this so much. It is tiny at first, but once you get used to the size of this, but I thought this was perfect because it'd be great for travel, and I thought this is my all matte look, and it's perfect for it's a standalone, but also I can bring another little palette that has a lot of shimmers in her. So I also got the mini Glam. So just bringing these, and I also got the mini Love palette. So for my next trip, I probably will just take these 3, and that's it. It takes up literally this much space. That's it. So my next trip, which is probably later this month, that's what I'm bringing. Hopefully my packing would be lightened up enough. The next thing I want to talk about is, prioritize your time. In this time and age, everybody is ambitious and trying to strive for the most out of life and trying to make all the money they could make, and different reasoning behind why people are ambitious. Sometimes it's just natural. They just gotta always work and be productive. And that is actually a good thing, because if people that are bored and have nothing to do, you have nothing, if you're not creative at all, then at least be like technical, like where you're working with technology or something. I've always been creative my entire life when it comes with everything from sewing, from photography, beauty, hair, things like that, painting, all kind of creative sculptures, things like that. I've always appreciated those kind of things. Knowledge is power. And so whatever you have knowledge in, read a lot of books, write a lot of books, write in your journal. But who knows, maybe writing or creative writing will be your future. Write poetry. I've done a lot. I tried out a lot of this stuff back in high school and grade school. And that's when you really discover who you are and what things make you happy. You could take a lot of jobs, and if you're a freelance makeup artist, or if you do hair, or if you're attending a lot of events, a lot of parties and things like that. And don't feel pressured if your friends or family, keep asking you, inviting you to all these places. You don't need to do all that. If it's going to wear you out and exhaust you to the point that you can't get out of bed because you cater to everybody else's needs and not your own, you're going to be sorry and you're going to be unhealthy. And once your health declines, then what do you have? Your health should be one of the top important things, and mental health as well. So maybe physically you can handle all these events and all these things that you're involved in. Maybe it really drains you mentally and psychologically, and that is exhausting as well. And and that also goes for people in your life, like friends and family, things like that. Some people are toxic, and rather if you're related to them or not, some people are toxic, and you may love them, but they might not be good for you. And if you hang out with some people and you're going to dinner and inviting them over, and when you're done with that moment, and if they leave you so exhausted that you avoid getting together with them again for a long time, that means they're like energy vampires. They're very toxic for you. That is not healthy. So get rid of all these toxic things and toxic people in your life. And if you can't get rid of them completely, just avoid them. Save yourself first. Put yourself first. And it's not really being like selfish at all. I'm not saying being selfish, but you could donate your time all you want, but if you wear yourself out and burn yourself out so much to the point where you're hospitalized, what good is that? What good is that? It isn't. So put yourself first, like put your health first, and your mental state and your physical state. And also, you shouldn't feel guilty if you can't attend a party or like a birthday party or like an event. But if you're in an industry that involves a lot of socializing and networking, those things could be very fun and like entertaining and like a blast, There are some days that you can't just attend every single thing. And living in Vegas, there is so much going on every night, and on weekends, especially from Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, there's like dozens of events. You can't go to everything. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to any of the things. And of course, I see on social media, many of my friends and close acquaintances all go to those, they all go to those events. They go to every single one. I'm like, how do they even do that? Like, how do they even do that and still, like, live a life? Like, I would just be so, like, burnt out. But whatever. Eventually, it catches up. Let's just say that. It definitely catches up with you. But I think I got away from feeling guilty about not attending every single event. Like a few years ago when, my health was so declined because I was too busy trying to make everybody happy and trying to attend everything, and I was so exhausted. And, I would miss gym workouts, and I would drink too much, and I would eat horribly, because when you're out and about, you go to fast food over healthy homemade food. Everything suffers. So it's like, you know what? No, I'm not doing that to myself anymore. I'm going to be choosy on what I go and plan things out accordingly. And if it all doesn't fall into play, then I just don't do it. So some people are like, we never see Shay out, or we always, we never see her out and about. She never comes to anything we invite her to. Well, I do what I can. I'm grateful to be invited to parties and events, and I try to, if I can't attend, it's because it just doesn't work for me. And I try to attend if I can, but I'm still always grateful. And also, like, wear makeup that makes you happy. If it's just an afternoon, like, brunch, and you're gonna wear, like, crazy eyeshadow with lots of sparkles and glitter all over your face, then do it, though. And this is not a trend. This is like, if it's you, if it makes you happy, then wear it. You're not hurting anybody. And if, you don't wear makeup to make everybody else happy. Don't worry about approval. Do we want compliments like, oh, your lipstick is beautiful tonight, or your skin looks everyone loves to hear those things. But don't live your life for those compliments. Because when you don't get them, you could be so devastated, and you realize that's not important what they think. What's important is what you think. And if something makes you happy, wear that leather corset, or wear that string bikini, or wear those cargo shorts, or wear those flip-flops, or wear those leather boots. Whatever. If it makes you happy, especially with makeup, do what you want. And it also goes with don't feel pressure to post perfect photos, especially on Instagram. Like, I joined Instagram, a decade ago or whatever, when it first launched, and I loved all the beautiful photos and things like that. And it was way different from the way it is now. It seems like now it's a bunch of hoochie mama photos. It's like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I don't care about sexy and sex appeal and just, but I like interesting and creative and artistic photos, either of a person or of a building or a mountain or a tree or a cute dog or a cute raccoon, whatever. Those are cute. And those are not, and I enjoy those things. And now we have little mini movies like the reels and things like that. Those are fun. But every now and then, if it's a photo of you with no makeup on, or just you in your PJs having some tea or coffee, sitting out on your back porch, or sitting under a tree, just then post that. If it's not perfect, the lighting's not perfect, don't feel pressure to. That's hard for me, though, because I'm like a perfectionist, especially when it comes to, like, create artistically. With my background training with photography and lighting and scenery design, like, the whole thing with the photograph, it's like it's my natural instinct to have it be perfect. But I don't use the strongest filters, like, to make it look like I have no pores. I have pores in my skin, like, we're human. And accept that. But I'd rather my skin look healthy because of, like, a good skincare product, and with the proper lighting, no matter what your age, or no matter what product you're using or foundation or whatever, the lighting can just make or break you. So if the lighting is just nice and just perfect, like a beautiful sunset lighting, or the morning sun is very good on your skin as well. It makes it look glowing. If you don't, even if you don't have the most glowing skin, it'll make you look glowing. So, and you learn that if you're around photography a lot, rather it be modeling or if you're the photographer. So this one's a hard one for me because I always, I always just tend on posting perfect photos or illustrations, or I crop in a photo that's just, it's my natural instinct to do that, but don't feel pressure to do that. And celebrate your features. If it's your lips, if it's your eyes, if it's your cheekbones, if it's your breasts, if it's your butt, whatever, celebrate those features and, play them up. And I'm mainly really talking about, the face right now, but like if your eyes are if they're the most luscious brown or the most crystally blue or the most sparkling amber color, then, play them up. Wear makeup around your eyes that really enhance that. Wear colors that really enhance your shade of eye color and don't take that away, And don't feel like you shouldn't play up your features because you don't want to make other people insecure. You're not doing it for that. You're doing it for yourself. You're not going out of your way. Like you shouldn't go out of your way to wear the most low-cut top because you have the most fabulous boobs to make everybody insecure. Like that shouldn't be your reason behind it. That's all I gotta say. That shouldn't be your reason behind it. And also don't play down your achievements and your rewards and awards that you've gotten. If you've gotten promoted at your job, if you've gotten a loan for a new home, if you got a trophy for, some kind of contest, celebrate that. And it's not about holding back these things because other people are going to feel bad. If you're around people that feel bad, that aren't happy for you, and you're not happy for each other, then they're the wrong people. Okay, your people, and I mean family or friends, doesn't matter. Everybody should be happy for each other and for their achievements. New jobs, new promotions, a new home, a new apartment, a new car. Those are big things. Or be accepted at a certain college that it was your dream to be accepted in. Celebrate that. Yes, maybe there's a borderline where you don't want to go overboard, where it looks like you're just boasting and bragging. You don't want to do that, but there's a healthy way to do it. Today, I'm wearing my new favorite foundation as of late is the new Everlast foundation by Dolce&Gabbana. I'm wearing the shade 10N, and I think it's a good match. It's it's neutral, but with an olive undertone. And I think it works. I think shade 11 would work for me too. And I think maybe shade 8C would work for me as well. I'm not quite sure I can't recall exactly how many shades they have, but they have a pretty good range. This sold for $58 and I bought it from Saks online. The Saks website online. I wish Sephora or Ulta sold like they do with Lancome and Dior, but maybe one day. But I bought this a few weeks ago, and there isn't a lot of reviews online. There's maybe 10. And it just, I think, was released a month ago, very early winter, late fall of 2024. And, they say it lasts 24 hours. Nobody wears makeup for 24 hours. Well, you shouldn't. But it's a matte finish, but I'd say it's more satin matte. It's definitely not luminous. And I usually go for luminous finishes sometimes, but in the winter, it's it's okay to be a little matte. I'd rather put the illuminating part strategically, on my cheekbones or on my nose, lips, eyebrows or whatever, certain points of my face, but not my entire face doesn't need to be illuminated like that. I was looking for something that would work for mature skin, that it wouldn't crease so quickly, that it wouldn't break down, that it would last longer than 6 hours. Just, you know, and a good tone. And this is really, I'm really happy. I think it reminds me of the Tier Cushion Foundation, just the matte version. I think it's better, but I've used it multiple times so far. But today it seemed like it was a little bit difficult to blend because my skin was so dry. Even though I put on a moisturizer, even though I put on a really good moisturizer, so I thought, I don't think I used enough. So I think the rest of this winter, and if you're gonna wear like a matte foundation, and if you have like a normal skin like I do, I think that just make sure you're drinking enough water and just make sure your skin is hydrated enough. Maybe use a double moisturizer, just, you know. But I'm really happy with this. But don't be afraid to mix foundations. So like in the summer, I may want to mix this or another matte foundation with a luminous foundation. Like mix it so you could have half and half. You can create the most amazing formulas of foundation just right in front of you on your own vanity. Be your own laboratory. And I don't mean that way, but I mean don't be afraid to mix your foundations. And I've been doing that on and off for years and years. You know, I'll get a real luminous foundation and I'm like, this is too luminous, and it just drops right off my skin, so it doesn't hold on. So I'll mix it with something else. I'll mix it with either a better primer, or I'll mix it with another foundation that's more matte, and you can find that happy medium, that perfect medium, like a little bit of a satin, a little bit of a luminous, a little bit of a matte, mixture of all of it. You can create the best foundation. I think I first started doing it just because of the shade tone. I'll have a one that's way too light and one that's way too dark, and then I mix them to get the right shade, but maybe and then realize, oh wait, there are two different types of foundation as well. In the beginning, I just mixed it just to get the right shade, which that worked, but now it even looks better mixed together because the formula's changed, and I made a better formula that works better for my skin. So guys, don't be afraid to do things like that. Mix your foundations. And like, be your own pro. I mean, you know, to master something like a makeup application or a skill that you have, focus on it. Do it every day. Work really hard on it. You know, perfect it, so then you are a master at that skill. And everybody is capable of doing this, no matter what you're interested in. Like, editing videos, I've just started doing for my other YouTube channel. And I do it for this as well. And I'm not a master at all. I mean, there's a lot of it I don't know. But I work with Final Cut Pro. And, you know, the things I know, I taught myself. And a little bit of help with my boyfriend. So he showed me a little bit. And I took it from there. He knew that, but I was very insecure doing that. And I didn't feel confident in doing it. But he believed in me. He knew I had the right skill and the capability to perfect it quickly. And I did. And I enjoy it. Like, sometimes I'll wake up, have my coffee, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go edit this next video, you know, because I enjoy it. I enjoy trying new things. Not everything. There's a lot of new things that they add to different applications that I'm not cool with, because I've gotten used to another way, the old way, and I mastered that, and now they think they improved it, and I'm talking about with a lot of software, not just Final Cut, but a lot of software. They think they improved some things, and it's not. This is actually more confusing. It's not even about intelligence, it's just practicality. And the next topic is, do you have a high contrast face? Are you low contrast or are you high contrast? Don't stress about that. That's like, everybody's been talking about that in the last month or so, and making videos on it. And like, I guess it could be a very interesting topic, but I guess I have a high contrast face. I have the light eyes and light skin but I have dark features like, you know, dark hair, dark brows, things like that. I'm not fair skinned, I'm light skinned. So I guess if I was real tan, if I was a tan skinned or like a deeper medium complexion, then I would be more in the maybe a lower contrast. Or if my hair was very light, not the color it is now. But don't stress about that. You know, if it actually interests you because you're just fascinated by it, then research it all you want and have fun with that. But don't stress if you can't figure that out. And to wrap this all up, the final thing is, don't feel pressure to have to change anything in 2025. You don't have to. If you discovered many things in 2024 that work for you and that makes your life like amazing, then don't change it. Then keep it going. Like, don't feel like, oh, well, it's, you know, a New Year's resolution. I mean, I would say only do that if you feel that it's like habits you want to change that aren't healthy, that aren't good for you, or things like that. Then, and if you want to change, but if you have a martini every single morning, and it works for you, then do it. If you need a Bloody Mary every Friday night, and it works for you, then do it. And no, it's not all about alcohol, but it's like, if you don't feel pressure to change things in the new year. If you find things that you make things work for you, if you like your job, and if you like where you live, and you like your friends, and you like the relationships that you do with your family, that you have with your family, and you like the types of food that you're eating, and you like the way your workout is going, everything is on point, then don't feel like you need to change anything. Because you don't have to change it. You can just keep it going. I mean, the whole point, everybody can go on a diet. Everybody can stop smoking. But the challenge is, how long is that going to continue? It's like when you fall off the horse, it's about getting back up again. Everybody falls off horses in life. But it's how you get back up. That's the key point, is how you get back up on that horse. If someone knocks you down, or if you fall down, get back up, dust yourself off, and continue going on your journey. Continue on your path, and don't let anyone try to sway you from your happiness. 2025 is going to be a very interesting year. I'm hoping everything is going to be positive for everyone. But there's always suffering in the world. But all we can do is do the best that we can do and commit your time to things that are healthy for you. And devote your moments to make a difference. Meanwhile, live your life safely, happily, and healthy. Other creators are doing videos just like this, and I'd like to shout out to a lot of those, including Nikki LaRose, did something very similar to this. So a lot of creators are being very inspired to be positive and be hopeful and helpful. So until next time, make sure you subscribe. I'll catch you later.